Hi guys, I hope that you are all really well. If you're new here, my name is Lucie and I am a parenting YouTuber and I am a mum to Harry, who is 6 years old, and I'm also expecting our second baby boy. He is due in September and I'm very excited. We haven't exactly settled on a name yet. We have a few in mind, but yeah, we haven't actually got a name yet, but I do have a list of names that I really love, but that I won't be using, and some of them are girls' names, so that's the obvious reason why I'm not using them, but there's also other reasons why I wouldn't use them. 6 boys' names that I really love, but we definitely won't be using as well. So I really like watching these videos because it kind of gives me ideas for baby names. I've been watching so many of them lately, so I hope you enjoy this one too. So I'm going to start off with a girl's name, and that name is Isabella, and I really love this name, aside from the fact that obviously I'm not having a girl. Maybe I will in the future. I wouldn't use the name Isabella because my sister got there first. So my niece's name is Isabel. She is 11, I think. And yeah, I just feel like Isabel and Isabella are really close sort of names, even though we call my niece Isabel Izzy all the time, and I quite like Bella, that's short for Isabella. But yeah, I just feel like I would feel like I'm stealing her name a little bit. The next name is also a girl's name, and it's actually the girl's name that we would have called Harry if he wasn't a boy, and it's quite out there compared to our quite traditional names and Harry's quite traditional name, and the name is Winter. And I don't like it as much as I did back when we had Harry. I really liked it then. It just, I don't know, I could just see this little girl called Winter with like dark, kind of like black hair like I had when I was younger. Yeah, it was just one of those names we really loved at the time. I think if we had a girl now, it just wouldn't really fit in with our family names, and like I said, I just don't like it as much as I did then. So I guess it's kind of lucky Harry wasn't a girl, because perhaps I would have not actually liked her name. So the next name is a boy's name, and this is the name I always envisaged that I would call one of my boys. So I've always had in my head that I would have 2 boys. Obviously I'd be really happy if I didn't have 2 boys, but I just kind of saw my life with 2 boys, and obviously that's what I'm going to be having, and I always thought I'd call one of them Harry and the other one Freddie. Now the reason I don't want to use Freddie, and I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this because it seems like a really mixed thing, but basically one of my best friends, her little boy is called Freddie, and I just feel like he is Freddie now. So I look at him and it like just suits him so much that it just wouldn't work for my baby, but also I feel like I can't call him Freddie because she is using the name. But I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Have you ever called your baby the same name as your friend's baby or anything like that? I would just love to hear what you think. I've kind of gone off it now because he is so much like a little Freddie, like his face just says Freddie. So I just feel like it wouldn't suit my baby anyway. But I just think Harry and Freddie go really nicely, and yeah, it's just a really nice name. So the next one is also a boy's name, and it's kind of the same reason because I have a best friend who has this name as one of their little boys' names, and it's Teddy. Again, it sounds a lot like Freddie. I just really like that sort of name. I think it's like a cheeky chappy kind of name, but it's also a really nice name to have when you grow up. So not only does she have a little boy called Teddy, but she also has an older boy called Harry. So I feel like I really can't steal that one away from her. The next name on my list is a girl's name, and it's Clemmy. So I'm not so keen on Clementine. I do like Clementine, but I think I would have just gone for the shortened version, Clemmy, straight away. I just think it's such a beautiful name. It's very popular, I think. I think it went through a bit of a wave the last couple of years of popularity. I know like it was really popular with some friends of mine, even though I actually don't know anyone like immediately that called their baby Clemmy. But I just think it's such a sweet name for a little girl, but also really nice for a grown-up too. Now the next name I just think is the coolest name ever, but my husband would absolutely hate it, and that is why we would never use it. And the name is Juniper, so it's like the berry, I think it's a berry or a herb, bit of both. And I just think it's such a lovely name. It just reminds me of like sweetness, and I don't know, and it's very like botanical and sort of like to do with wildlife and nature, and I really like nature inspired names, and I just think that it's really, really pretty. So I would love to hear if you have a Juniper, or if it's maybe made your baby girl shortlist. Now the very next name I'm kind of a little bit devastated about, because I just feel like it's a really cool name. It goes really well with Harry, it's kind of goes with our family name, but I just hate the shortened version of it. So the name is Bobby, and obviously you can use this for a girl, but I had it kind of under my boy category. I think Bobby is just such a cool little name for a little boy, teenager, an adult, and whilst I love the thought of Harry and Bobby, I just couldn't bear it if somebody called him Bob. And not because Bob's a horrible name, but it's just, obviously I feel like you think of older people when you think of someone called Bob. Like Scott has an uncle called Bob, who a lot of people call Bobby, but actually most people do call him Bob, which is fine if that's what he wants to be called, but I just wouldn't want people shortening my baby's name to Bob when I just really love the name Bobby. So the next name on my list is Hudson, and again I think this is such a cool name. I really, really like it. I quite like the fact that it also begins with H, because obviously we have Harry and our last name is Houchin, so we have Harry Houchin, and we could have had a Hudson Houchin, but I also feel like because of the H it's a bit of a tongue twistery type thing. Hudson Houchin, I just feel like it doesn't roll off the tongue very easily, and I just wouldn't want to make it too difficult for the child to pronounce their own name, but I just think it's such a cute name. It's very kind of American, isn't it? I think that's because of obviously the Hudson River, that's what it makes me think of anyway, but I do think it's a really lovely name. And the very last name on my list again is a boy's name, and it is William, and I just really like it. My husband hates it. But I just think it's just a really, really cute little name. It reminds me of a programme I used to watch when I was little called Just William. Can't really tell you what it was about, but I just remember really liking it. I think it was on a Sunday, like late afternoon, and we'd all sit around and watch it. I just really liked it. So it kind of reminds me of that. It's very British, very traditional. I quite often find that I don't like the long version and then the nickname for most names, but I do like the name Will a lot. I feel like it's the kind of name that suits you from when you're younger to when you're older. I think I kind of look for that in a name, because obviously you don't want to have like this cute little name for a baby and then it's kind of seems a bit of a silly name for when they're older. But it's funny when you say that, isn't it? Because like you think of your parents' names and things like that, that the names that don't really get used anymore, and you think, oh my goodness, that is not a cute baby name. But obviously back then it probably was. Like my mum's name is Linda. I could never imagine anybody calling their baby Linda, just because it's like you don't really hear of it anymore, and to me Linda is an adult, it's not like a baby's name, but obviously it was popular one day. So those are all the names on my baby names I love but won't be using list. I would love to hear your name suggestions. What do you think we should call our baby boy? I'm still open to suggestions. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos from me, and I will see you next time.